Good afternoon, fellow rail fans and modelers. This is Walter's Railroad, Walter's Rails, and I'm going to do a quick video on how to weather a freight car. One of the techniques that I use. There's several techniques, and I've been asked to make a video, so here it is. This is a Walther's mainline B&O rail gondola, which I got from Tag Trains, which they seem to be able to find about anything you could ever want, and they're one of the cheapest places to order stuff from. So I will post a link to their website for you to check them out, and they're a local hobby shop here in Illinois, so make sure to give your local hobby shop a little bit of business. Most of my products are from Tag Trains, and as I said, this is a Walther's mainline gondola, which I'm going to be weathering several of these. And I've already started with some alcohol and Q-tips, just 70%, whatever you can get your hands on. It all works about the same. And I took just a regular little pocket knife that's real cheap, $1 from Walmart, and kind of scraped a little bit of the letters down and took some alcohol to help dilute it a little bit and smear it a little bit. And that's just one of the basic things that I do. I also use flat red primer. It's good for plastics. That's kind of what I use to rust up my train cars with. And let me give you a little example of what I've been doing. I'll just lightly scrape on it a little bit to start. Hardly any paint comes off, but of course I'm using two hands usually doing this, so a little hard with the camera. But I'm using the modeler's license of weathering how I want to. I'm not looking for prototypical, because the rust paint will cover up any mistakes I make. So, as I said, not too worried about how it looks scraping. Like I said, just light scrapes, just enough to barely get the paint chipped off. And then I'll take a Q-tip with alcohol on it. I'll kind of rub it down a little bit. I'll just kind of start right there in the middle. As you can see, it's already picking up some of that paint, and it comes off a lot easier now. But I always like to start to scrape it before I put the alcohol on. That way it's got a few little grooves for it to work itself in, and it seems to give a little bit better weathering look to it. I'm just going to lightly weather this gondola. For the era I'm modeling is the mid-80s, and this was an early 80s car, so I don't want to give it too much rust and too much fade. But that's just kind of the basic idea, as I showed you the other side. Just a little bit of faded lettering, not too much. I'm going to leave the reporting marks alone. They'll be covered pretty good in rust once I get it painted. And now let's go outside and I'll show you how I do that. as you saw in my paint, it was very simple, just a couple of quick sprays, and it was done. It was actually a little too thick for what I was originally wanting to do, but that's alright. And here is another railgun that I'm also working on. Like I said, I got this at Tag Trains. And here's what I've got done to it so far. Haven't hit it with the rust yet, but I'm going to go with the very rustic, very faded look on this particular railgun. And I'll show you the finished work in just a moment. Here is the final result of that. As I said, I was going to go very rustic on this. That's pretty much the basics. I'll go back over eventually to like the grab irons and stuff and touch them up just with a little bit of paint them up a little bit, make them look a little more rustique. And this box is just some more projects that I'll be working on, and probably give some more how-to videos. I hope this was informative, and I hope it helped you, give you a very cheap, easy way to weather up your freight car fleet.